So in our last video, we discussed about file handling, how we can create a file, how we can rename a file, copy, paste, and all these things we can do by using the coding part, the CLI basically. In this video, we are going to understand what is actually function in any programming language. Okay, so function is the basic definition of function is a block of code. It is just a block of code by which you can perform a specific task. A block of code by which you can perform a specific task. Let me give you one example as a real life example. Okay, suppose if I'm talking about a plumber. Okay, so a plumber, suppose to understand what a plumber does basically. First of all, a simple human, okay, suppose there is a human, okay, and if he or she wants to be a plumber, in this that means he want to fix the tanks and all, okay. So in this case, he or she have to learn about the skills of a plumber, okay. So it will take like suppose 2 to 3 years to understand the skills, okay. Now, so after understanding the skill, now whenever someone calling to her or him to fix the tap or to fix the tanks, in this case, whenever someone call him or her, okay, he or she can go and fix that particular thing. Okay, so in this case, you can see same way goes with cook also. The cook will not always going to cook anything, but whenever you need something to eat, you call your cook and the cook will perform or the cook the same thing which you actually want and so on. Okay, same way. So a plumber or a cook or anyone is basically uh, when you call them, then only he or she is going to perform that task. Okay, that is specific task. Okay, a cook can only cook the food, plumber can fix the taps, and so on. So, in same way, in a programming language, okay, if you want to perform a specific task, for that we can write a block of code. Suppose this block of code can add two numbers. Okay, so whenever you want to add two numbers, you don't need to write the program for that every time, but this same function you can call again and again to do the same task actually. Okay, so a function is a block of code by which you can perform a specific task, just like a real world. Okay, now let's see how we can do this, how we can perform all these things. In this case, basically, if you want to create a function in Python, we have two things. Okay, first of all, defining a function, and the second part is calling a function. This is the two thing which every time you need to do whenever you're working with a function. So calling a function. Now, what is the definition part? This definition part is basically, if I'm taking the example of a cook or a plumber, it will take some time for plumber to understand the skill for 2 to 3 years. So that is the defining part. Okay, to understand the skill, what exactly we are going to perform. Okay, and then calling is now after completing the skill. Now, whenever you want to perform that task, you need to call that person. Okay, so calling a function if you want to perform that specific task. So if you want to create that block of code which you want to specifically perform, is basically called defining a function. When you're calling that function to perform that specific task is called calling a function. To create this kind of function, let's see how we can do this. For that, we have a special syntax here. Here to define a function, we have a def keyword along with the function name. Any function name you can take, function name along with the parenthesis. This parenthesis is basically you can say a syntax or a symbol which which basically indicates that it is a function. Okay, then colon, because and then press enter. After pressing enter, your cursor will be here in the indentation part. We already told you that indentation is a block, is basically a specific amount of white space. So this is the white space here. Now here you can write anything which is the block of code. That's it. This is how you can perform. You can create a function. Whenever you want to perform this specific task, you can call the function with the function name only. What is the name of the function? Any name you can take. Function name, apart from the keywords and all, we already understand the basically how we can put any name, okay, in previous sessions, along with the parenthesis. That means you are calling this function to perform this particular specific task. Let me give you one example for that. So I want to create a function to print my name. So my name is Mallika Srivastava. Let's see how we can print my name by using a function. Okay. So first of all, def, we need to define the function. So def, name of the function. So I'm writing here, the name of the function is suppose name. Any name you can take, I'm using your name here, okay? Parenthesis is most important. Colon, press enter. The cursor is here. So first of all, I want to print here hello. Hello. In the next line, I want to print here my name. So my name is, let's choose Malika. Okay. And then I want to print here bye. It's totally up to you how you want to write it here. I'm just writing it like this. Now that's it. And you can see here I'm inside the block. Whenever you're outside the block, that means when you are going to call this function, that outside the, if you're not in the indentation, that will not execute. Okay. So it is all these things are inside the indentation. Now, the next thing is, this is how when you're going to execute this code, no, it will not work. You will not get any output. Why? It is because of you just create the function. Okay, you just define the function. What about calling a function? If you want to execute this specific task, then you can call this function. So the name of the function is name along with the parenthesis. This is how you can call a function. Whenever you are calling this function, it checks the name, it matches the name. If the name is exactly matched, it checks what it execute whatever inside it. So first of all, it prints hello. Cursor will be next line because by default in end we have slash n. My name is Malika. Cursor is the next line and then bye. That's it. Now, if you're calling this function once again it repeats the whole task once again. Hello, my name is Malika, bye, and so on. So this is how it actually works. Okay, let's do all these things in the programming part. So I already created an IDLE file with the name functions.py. Let's create a function here. So def, name of the function I'm using here is my name. Any name you can take, it's totally up to you. Okay, let's see. Now, the next thing is basically use colon and press enter. Now you can see we're inside the indentation. Let's write anything here. So I'm just writing here print hello. Same line I'm writing here. Print. So my name is Malika, and then I want to print here bye. Okay. It's totally up to you what exactly you want to print and what exactly you want to write here, what you want to execute. Okay. Outside the block, I'm writing here out of the function. Okay. Now, so first of all, when you're going to execute this code, no, it will not give you any output except this line of code. Why? Because all these things are inside the function. It only executes when you're calling the function. Okay. But it will execute this line because it's not inside the function. Run this code and you can see outside the function. Okay, this is not working. Now let's call this function. So I'm calling this function. The name of the function is my name along with the parenthesis. That's very important. Now let's run this code. Now when you call this function, then only it will execute. So, okay. out of the function. It's because of we just define the function. We are not calling it, no, so it will not execute. The next thing is print out of the function. Then we are calling this function. So, hello, my name is Malika and bye. I want to call this once again. Control C and V. Let's run this code. And you can see here out of the function, hello Malika, hello, my name is Malika, bye. And again, hello, my name is Malika and bye. Okay, suppose I want to execute this same code for 5 times. So we don't need to type it one by one, but we can use but we can use here loop. So for I in range for 5 times I want to execute, no? So 5. That's it. Run this code. And you can see here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then out of the function. So it's totally up to you how you want to do this. Okay, I hope this part is clear, everyone. Now, we have some more thing. It's like in a function, now you can do lots more things here. Let's do it in the next video. Thank you.